You did not find this message by accident. Something inside you has been asking in silence, and today that silence gets an answer. There are moments when the heart grows quiet, yet the mind becomes loud. You smile on the outside, but inside you keep returning to one person, one feeling, one question that will not leave you alone. Is it real, or is it only hope wearing the face of love? Stay with me, because what you are about to hear may explain the pressure in your chest, the sudden calm that comes from nowhere, and the strange pull that brings their energy back even when you try to move on. This is not just about romance, it is about recognition. It is about the bond that shakes you before it heals you. And if you have been feeling that someone loves you in a way they cannot fully say yet, then listen closely all the way to the end, because the clearest sign is not the one most people expect. What looks like distance may not be the end at all. What feels confusing may actually be the proof. And once you see it, you will never read this connection the same way again. You have felt it already, even if you tried to deny it. In the quiet corner of your heart, where truth stays long before words can explain it, something has been telling you that this bond is not ordinary. You may have doubted it, you may have called it fantasy, loneliness, or the mind reaching for comfort, but the feeling kept returning, not once, not twice, again and again. That is why you are here. Not for random words, not for empty comfort. You are here because part of you already knows, and now you want that knowing to become clear. You have sensed a magnetic pull toward someone, a connection too deep to fit into simple logic. Sometimes you tried to walk away from it. Sometimes you convinced yourself it was all in your head. Yet every time you turned from it, something gentle but powerful pulled you back. Listen carefully, because this matters. What you have been feeling is not always loud. Real love, especially the kind that changes your life, often arrives in silence first. It appears in energy before speech, in presence before promises, in a deep inner reaction before any clear answer is spoken out loud. If this already feels familiar, keep listening, because the next part may explain why doubt has been fighting so hard against what your soul has quietly recognized. The truth is simple, even if it feels intense. Your doubt may not be coming from the absence of love. It may be rising from the old pain inside you that does not yet know how to trust something real. When someone enters your life with an energy that touches your deepest self, it does not only awaken joy, it also wakes up every fear that once taught you to protect your heart. That is why this connection has felt both beautiful and unsettling. One part of you feels pulled toward them with peace, and another part becomes nervous, restless, and unsure. This is not madness. It is not weakness. It is what happens when a bond reaches below the surface and touches the places in you that still need healing. The soul recognizes what matters quickly. The mind takes longer. The mind remembers pain. The mind builds walls. The mind asks for proof every 5 minutes. But the deeper part of you already felt something true. If you have been lying awake at night wondering whether this person feels it too, whether you are imagining the whole thing, or whether your heart is making up stories to survive, then breathe and stay with this. Because the clearest sign may not be found in dramatic words. It may be hiding inside the strange mix of peace and fear you have been carrying for so long. There is a pattern many people miss. Whenever you decide to let go, close your heart, block the feeling, or tell yourself you are finally done, the connection somehow returns. It comes back through a thought, a dream, a memory, a sudden wave in the chest, or a calm you cannot explain. That return is important. It does not always mean you should chase. It does not mean you should force anything, but it does mean this bond is touching a deeper level of your being than ordinary attraction. The signs are often subtle, a glance that lingers a second too long, a message that looks casual but carries hidden warmth, a moment of silence that feels fuller than conversation, a shift in your energy when they walk into a room, or even when they cross your mind from far away. Stay here, because this part matters more than most people understand. True love does not always begin with loud declarations. Sometimes it begins with small actions that are awkward on the outside and deeply sincere underneath. Sometimes the heart chooses before the mouth can say anything. Sometimes someone cares more than they know how to show. And if you have been mistaking silence for indifference, do not leave yet, because silence can carry emotion too. In some connections, silence is not emptiness. It is pressure. It is feeling with no safe language. It is care still searching for form. What if the one who seems unsure is not them, but the wounded part of you that cannot yet believe love this deep could be real? That question changes everything. Because when a powerful connection enters your life, it does not come to keep you comfortable. It comes to wake you up. It shakes loose your old limits. It exposes fear. It shows you every place where you settled for less, every place where you begged for crumbs, every place where you learned to expect loss before love had a chance to breathe. This is why the bond can feel like chaos at first, not because it is wrong, but because it is strong enough to break old patterns. And yes, that can feel frightening. But fear does not always mean danger. Sometimes fear means something real is touching a part of you that has never been fully loved in the right way. Look closely at how this person affects you. Even from a distance, do they carry a softness they cannot fully hide? Do you feel a strange respect in the way they look at you, the way they pause around you, the way their energy shifts when you are near? These are not random things, and if lately their silence has made you think they are gone for good, keep listening. Not every pause means loss. Not every distance means the feeling died. Some people step back not because they feel nothing, but because they feel too much and do not yet know how to hold it. Now we come to the real inner battle, the one that keeps this whole experience confusing. It is the battle between fear and intuition, between the voice that panics and the voice that quietly knows. Fear is loud. It rushes. It demands proof right now. It says if they do not text, they do not care. If they are quiet, it is over. If they are distant, you have been fooled. Fear makes your body tight. It drains your energy. It turns every pause into a threat. Intuition is different. It does not scream. It does not beg. It feels calm, even when the situation is uncertain. It feels like a deep inner whisper that says, wait, not everything is what it looks like. Stay with me here, because this distinction may change how you read the entire connection. If what you feel beneath the anxiety is a strange peace that keeps returning, that matters. If, under all the noise, there is still a steady sense that this bond is meaningful, that matters too. Many people confuse anxious attachment with inner knowing, and yes, that can happen. But there is a difference. One leaves you empty and frantic. The other, even in hard moments, leaves a quiet truth in your chest that refuses to disappear. That quiet truth may be the very sign you have been asking for. Not obsession, not fantasy. A steady knowing that outlives fear. A lot of your confusion may come from the past, not from the present. If you were once betrayed, abandoned, ignored, or made to feel unchosen, then a connection like this will press on those bruises immediately. You may think you are doubting them, but many times you are really doubting your own ability to hold a love this deep without getting hurt again. That is why this bond feels so personal. It is not only about whether they love you, it is also about whether you can finally receive a love that does not fit your old pain. This connection may be asking you to stop living from survival, to stop reading every silence as rejection, to stop running after proof like your worth depends on it. And that lesson is not small. It changes everything. When fear rises, it does not always mean love is fading. Sometimes it means an old wound is rising so it can finally be seen and released. This is why each wave of doubt gives you a choice. You can panic and feed the old pattern, or you can pause, breathe, and name it for what it is. Fear is surfacing. The past is speaking, but the present may be very different. If you can learn that, if you can stop reacting to every shadow as if it were the whole truth, you will begin to see this connection with new eyes. And once you see it clearly, the energy between you starts to change. There is another truth that explains why this person may seem quiet, distant, or hard to read. In strong soul-level bonds, both people get shaken, not just one. If your world was stirred by this connection, theirs may have been stirred too. Sometimes the one who steps back is not running from you. They are running from what they feel inside themselves when your presence brings everything to the surface. That does not excuse harmful behavior. It does not mean you should accept confusion forever. But it does explain why deep feeling can create distance before it creates closeness. Some people pull away because they do not care. Others pull away because they care so much that it overwhelms them. They fear not being enough. They fear losing control. They fear making a mistake with something that feels precious. So they go quiet. They slow down. They disappear for a while. And from the outside, it looks cold. But inside, it may be a storm they do not yet know how to calm. This is why chasing usually makes the cycle worse. When one person feels pressure, they retreat more. When the other feels distance, they reach harder. Back and forth, runner and pursuer, silence and pursuit, pain and misunderstanding. If this sounds familiar, do not stop here, because the way out of that cycle is not more force. It is a shift in energy, and that shift begins with returning to yourself. The moment you stop trying to control the connection, something powerful begins. Not because you stop caring, but because you stop making your peace depend on what the other person does next. This is the lesson many people resist. The bond becomes clearer when you choose yourself. When you stop chasing, stop proving, stop trying to force a response, the pressure changes, space opens, your energy steadies. And in that steadiness, something new becomes possible. The other person can feel the difference even if no words are spoken. The need leaves the air. The fear begins to loosen. The connection has room to breathe. Do not misunderstand this. Letting go is not giving up on love. It is releasing fear from love. It is standing in your own light instead of collapsing into the absence of theirs. And this is often the very point where things start to shift. Because real reunion, if it is meant to happen, cannot be built on panic, attachment, and constant emotional chasing. It has to be built on wholeness, on respect, on two people who can choose each other without trying to fill a hole inside themselves. If this message is speaking directly to your situation, stay until the end because the next signs are the quiet confirmations most people overlook. And once you notice them, the silence between you may stop feeling like a wall and start feeling like a bridge still being built. One of the strongest signs that this person's love is real is the way the connection keeps speaking through small moments that seem too exact to ignore. Life keeps bringing them back to your awareness. A song plays at the perfect time. A color, a place, a scent, a phrase suddenly reminds you of them with unusual force. You think of them, and something in your body answers before your mind does. These things may seem little, but they can carry meaning when they repeat with strange timing and emotional weight. The heart understands patterns the mind often dismisses. Then there is the way they look at you when they forget to guard themselves. Their eyes stay a moment longer. Their attention returns to you even when they try to stay busy. Their body language shifts. Their silence around you feels full instead of empty. With anyone else, that silence would be awkward. Here, it feels charged, almost alive. That matters. Love does not only show through speech, it shows through attention, through softness, through the way someone's energy changes in your presence, through the way they try to hide what still leaks through their eyes. And sometimes, yes, through inconsistency that comes from feeling too much rather than too little. Keep listening, because one of the deepest signs is not just synchronicity outside of you, it is the emotional echo inside of you, the sudden wave that arrives with no obvious cause and later makes sense in ways logic cannot easily explain. Have you ever felt sudden calm, sudden heaviness, sudden warmth, or the sharp sense that they were thinking about you for no clear reason? Many people push those moments away because they sound impossible, but deep connections often move through feeling before they move through language. Emotional resonance is real to the person experiencing it, even if it cannot be measured like a text message or a phone call. You may feel them most strongly when the world is quiet, late at night, early in the morning, or in dreams that feel more real than daily life. Some dreams do not feel like random images. They feel like meetings. You wake up with their presence still around you. You remember words, emotions, even comfort that stays in your body after your eyes open. Whether you call that soul contact, intuition, or the mind processing deep emotion, the effect can be powerful. And the repeated nature of it matters. So does waking with their name in your mind. So does opening your eyes at the same kind of hour again and again. So does the sense that even with no contact, the bond is still alive somewhere beneath the visible world. I am not telling you to build your life on signs alone. I am telling you not to dismiss what keeps arriving with emotional truth, because sometimes the heart receives confirmation in quiet forms first, while the outer world is still catching up. Now here is the part that changes the story from waiting into growth. The purpose of this bond is not just to make you feel chosen, it is to make you stronger, clearer, and more whole. That is why doubt has to be replaced with trust, not blind trust in a fantasy, but calm trust in your own center. The moment you stop treating fear as prophecy, the connection changes. The moment you stop asking the universe for constant proof and begin anchoring in your own worth, something opens. You release pressure. You stop sending out the energy of lack. You stop saying, "Come complete me." And you begin saying, "I am becoming whole, and whatever is truly meant for me will meet me there." That shift is everything. If this line hits you deeply, stay present with it. Because a connection like this does not ask you to lose yourself. It asks you to return to yourself. It asks you to become steady enough to receive love without collapsing into fear. It asks you to choose peace when your old habits want drama. It asks you to stop trying to control the time, the method, the pace, and the form of how things unfold. That is not passive. That is strength. That is emotional maturity. And in many cases, it is also the exact move that allows the other person to feel safe enough to come closer instead of farther away. This space between you, painful as it may feel, may be doing more work than you can see. Separation is not always punishment. Sometimes it is preparation. Sometimes each person must heal alone before the bond can stand in truth. Think of it like two mirrors being cleaned apart so that when they finally face each other again, the reflection is not distorted by fear, need, or old wounds. What is being shaped in you right now is not small. You are learning self-worth. You are learning patience. You are learning the difference between love and attachment. You are learning that your peace cannot depend on someone else's timing, and they may be learning too, even if they do not yet know how to say it. They may be facing their own shadows, their own defenses, their own old stories about rejection, failure, and surrender. This is why the person who returns later is often not the same person who stepped back. Time changes people. Healing changes people. Awareness changes people. And if reunion comes, it must come with more truth than before. Not just passion, not just intensity. Truth, respect, stability, choice. If you are still here, hear this clearly. What is real does not need panic to survive. It needs honesty. It needs inner strength. It needs two people who are no longer trying to run from themselves when love begins to touch what hurts. So, what is the undeniable sign? It is not only a message, not only a stare, not only a dream, a song, a coincidence, or a sudden feeling in your chest. The undeniable sign is this. Beneath all the fear, confusion, distance, and silence, the connection keeps leading you back to truth instead of destroying you with emptiness. It keeps asking you to heal, to grow, to become more honest, more grounded, more aligned with your own worth. And if their love is real, it will not only pull at your heart, it will also awaken your deeper self. It will keep showing up in calm moments, in silent knowing, in signs that gently repeat, in the way their energy lingers, and in the fact that no matter how hard you try to reduce it to nothing, something true remains. Let that be your answer for now. Do not chase. Do not beg. Do not turn your life into a waiting room. Stand tall. Heal fully. Trust what is genuine without forcing what is not ready. And if this connection is meant to become visible in the world, it will come with greater clarity, not because you pushed, but because both hearts became strong enough to meet it. Until then, protect your peace, honor what you feel, and remember this. Some loves speak loudly, but the deepest ones often prove themselves first in silence, in growth, and in the quiet certainty that refuses to die.